Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white figures. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah. I don't like niggas, what's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight, nigga.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and New York, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog app. Use code MACE, CAM, or STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash with your first deposit and a free pick. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your hosts, Mase and Cam.
Killer, what's good, man?
Murder, what's up, man? How you doing? What's up, Stat? How y'all?
Chilling, man. What city you in?
I'm in Miami, man. I did the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul thing the other day. Then I came to Miami to check on my stuff for a minute. Part of my absence yesterday. You know, I'm dealing with a lot of death the last 4 or 5 days, man. About 3 people I know died in 5 days. So it was a little rough for me yesterday. Part of my absence yesterday, man.
Yeah, man.
And sorry for your loss, because never like to hear that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely RP my man Byron, RP Percy from the Bronx, and of course my man Chubby Baby from Ohio, Atlanta, New York, and all that, man. So it's been a wild couple days for me, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
That's a wild group.
Yeah, and then just real quick, kind of want you to elaborate a little bit more on the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul stuff, because we've seen you all over the internet on the promos and stuff. Kind of how was that experience? We know the fight is coming up this weekend. Got any words before we dive into the Monday Night Football topic?
No, it was dope. Thanks to Most Valuable Promotions for reaching out for me to do this. I thought they called the right person. They know who's running shit right now. I'm talking about us as a team. And it was dope because Mase was out handling shit with UFC. I was out doing boxing. So we was on location where we needed to be this weekend. As far as the interview was concerned, it was kind of, to me, it was mild-mannered. They talked a little shit, but it could have been a little more aggressive. I was trying to instigate shit. They wasn't feeding into it so much. But they was calm. It was cool. Jake Paul threw Mike a pigeon. Mike grabbed the pigeon out the cage. I never seen a nigga grab a pigeon like that. It was kind of wild and for me to be up close to see Mike. I thought Mike was going to kill the pigeon, actually. But Mike know how to handle pigeons. He's a pigeon flyer for a living. You know, that's his hobby. That's what he does. So besides that, to be honest with you, it was just a little too much respect for me. It was a little bit shit talk. I was hoping a little more. I was hoping to keep it plain and simple. Some shit popped off. That's what I was really hoping for, to be honest with you. But they kept it cool. They was talking shit. Don't seem like they necessarily gonna be nice to each other once it's time to get in the ring. I think Mike looks at it as a nigga who played professional sports versus a nigga who trying to play professional sports. Jake Paul's looking at it like, everybody y'all put in front of me, I knocked him out. He said everybody talk about his fix, but he learned to take that as a compliment. It was dope. It was really dope to experience that, and hopefully we'll do more of those in the future. But as far as my prediction for the fight, we'll see. I thought the funniest shit it was, to be honest with you, when we sat down, Jake Paul was like, I know y'all know each other. I hope this ain't going to be like some Trump shit, what they did to Trump. I said, yo, that's funny.
What did he mean by that?
Like trying to gang up again.
You don't remember the debate? Trump said it was 3 against 1 at the debate.
Yeah.
So when he said that, Trump is funny. Trump said when he was sitting down after the debate was over, it was 3 against 1. And they asked Trump, how do you want to do a second debate? And Trump said, second debates are for losers. Losers don't do second debates. So why would I do a second debate? Nick, could you put the camera on the screen for Stat and Trump? Because I mean Stat and Trump. Mason, Stat, I want to see them and ask them a question. How do y'all feel? I want to see y'all facial expressions. How y'all feel about the new president?
Why did the closer be like that? That was so extra. I feel like America voted.
How do you feel about your next president?
America voted.
Yeah.
That is now the president.
No, I didn't ask you what America does. I asked you how you feel about it. Your new president.
That's how I feel. America voted. That's our new president.
Okay. Don't sound like you happy about it. What up, Mase? How you feel about it?
That it's giving sore loser.
I don't think it's giving sore loser at all. I don't think it's giving sore loser at all. It's what it is.
Definitely giving some.
It is what it is.
It's definitely like if that's what they want.
It is what it is. I mean,
It's definitely giving if that's what y'all want.
it is what it is. Like on day one, there's things that he wants to do.
I ain't gonna front, Murder. I was getting sore loser vibes too. How you feel about it, Murder? What you feel about it?
I think America voted.
Yo, see?
Nah. I'm really actually a little looking forward to seeing what's gonna come out of this. I think that was kind of like the better choice, you know, for where America is right now. I think that was the better choice, but you know, that's my opinion.
Because even if she said America voted, even if you didn't elaborate when you said America voted, it's like when somebody say it's all good, and you be like, nah, it's all good. When you cool with it, and then when you're not cool, you be like, nah, it's all good. You know what I'm saying?
Do I sound salty? Like, I don't know. That's President. America voted. Day one, he said the things he wanted to do. Eliminate Department of Education, mass deportation, but there's tax cuts for some people. There's a lot of things on both sides.
She made it a tax cut thing. Did you hear it?
No, there is.
No, first of all,
she threw a shot at me.
That's not even a shot.
She threw a shot at you too, Killer.
That's not even a shot.
Tax break.
For the rich, right? I ain't got $1 billion. He said he cutting it for billionaires.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, it's over 400,000. So like I told you, I read up on this stuff all the time. So it's interesting to me. We'll see what happens. That's really.
Let me ask you this, since we're on the conversation,
okay.
right? Real talk. What do you think about the money that Kamala's raising to say that the campaign was in debt when it was all said and done?
I mean, I believe it because she didn't have as much time to campaign because, I mean, Joe Biden dropped out the race longer in, so.
But you know how much money she raised?
A lot.
How much you think?
Like, I don't know, probably like, I don't know.
Just how much you think?
It was a lot. And I'm like, I don't want to say $1 billion, but it was like definitely high up there. Yeah.
How do you raise $1 billion and be in debt before?
I mean, that's what super
before
PACs do.
Things is over.
That's what super PACs do. They have the committees that come together and raise money for each prospective candidate. That's why Elon Musk was able to raise a lot of money for Trump in a short amount of time too. So, hey, people did what they wanted to do.
She raised more money than Trump.
At the end of the day, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And was in debt.
I don't know exactly the amount each of them had, but hey.
But why would you throw out just the negative things when you mention Trump and you be like,
no, that's
deportation,
not. That's not. No, but that's not. That's the thing. That's subjective because it's negative to some people. It's positive to some people. That's been like the two biggest arguments. Some people
what is it to you? What is it to you?
What? Which part?
Is it negative? Whatever you just said. You just named.
I think there's
deportation.
Yeah, I think there's negative and positives on both sides. Now, for me.
That's true.
There is. Like, I'm just very neutral. So when I see things, that's the fact. You can take it how you want. Personally.
Did you vote?
Yeah, I always vote. Since I've been able to vote.
You're not neutral. You voted for somebody.
Since I've been able
you're not neutral.
No, but I am neutral because
you voted.
You're
like,
pushing
you make decisions based off of different reasons. And now that he is president, like, when whoever was going to be president, I'm looking at both policies and what they want to instill. So that's how I make my decision. And then now that he is our president, those are the decisions that are going to be made.
What I learned from this was that you don't agree with anybody's entire plan. right? So whether you're talking Trump or whether you're talking Kamala, both of them have policies and things that they're going to do that somebody that's on the other side may not agree with. I think when it comes down to it, you have to start looking at how many things do you not agree with and what's most important to you.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying this whole time. Back when we had Mike Tyson on, I said, you got to vote on what's important to you, y'all. So, hey.
So what's most important to you is education?
I did say that at the beginning. Education is an important factor to me.
And deportation?
It's an important subject. It doesn't affect me personally, but it affects a lot of people.
What do you think about that? What
I think a lot of people are going to be affected.
No, do you think people should be in a country illegally?
That's debatable.
See, that's and that matters. I mean, because when you think about being responsible, when something goes wrong, people want you to fix it. But when you try to put things in place to make sure it doesn't go wrong, then people have a problem with that. But that's life, you know?
Yeah.
People don't like curfews. They don't like rules. They don't like.
And I'm not here to point fingers at people because there's some things that I've done that people might feel like is wrong, but to me is right. So I can't be the judgment of that. That's why I always say, do your own research and do what y'all feel is correct. That's that.
How important is education to you?
Super important. That's how I feel like. That's how I am where I'm at now.
Right, because Mason and I cheated our whole way through school.
Yeah. Which is fine, because like you guys are obviously super successful, but like that's not the route for everybody. Like my mom was the first person in our family to go to college, so like she instilled that in me to go get your education. You guys were blessed in a different way.
Mace, you already got your degree? Did you cheat in Clark? It's okay. Just wondering. I wasn't there for that one.
I got an honorary degree. So I didn't have to. Finish.
I'm saying you're very smart. That's the thing about it as well. Like a lot of people, it's a balance of smart because you can be super duper book smart and dumb street smart and vice versa. But when you have that balance, it's really dope. And Mase really has that balance. Mase is very, very intelligent. I remember being in a classroom and he made somebody cry over their own religion because they didn't have the facts over their own religion. And we was like 15, there's no internet, no nothing. I asked him recently how the fuck he knew that. I was like, yo. I said, yo, how did you know that at 15 years old? And he was like, I used to read a lot because my mother wouldn't let me watch TV. so I'm talking about, like, all jokes aside, it's like a 30-year later, 30, I don't know how many, 30-some years, I'm still asking the nigga question, like, I remember that day because this girl cried. I don't want to say the names or whatever, it's still cool with her, but I was like, she coming in with the black hoodie on every day with the all black and shit, like she know, like she pushing her agenda and don't even know what agenda she pushing.
Yeah.
So what is an honorary degree? I don't know. I'm just asking.
For some people, they just receive it because they donated to the school. Mine did not come that way. Mine was due to people hearing me speak different places, and the school choosing to honor the wisdom and the intellect that I proceeded with.
Was you the most famous person in your school?
I wouldn't.
When you was going to school? Yeah,
when I was going there, probably. But you got to think. I think a lot of people came out of there, from Don Cannon, DJ Drama. I think Ludacris went there, if I'm not mistaken. Bobby V.
So,
I mean, everybody was at that school at the same time. It was a lot of talent down there.
But nobody was in the school that sold 5 million records at the time, right?
Nah.
You went to school after you sold 5 million records.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to complete something that I told my mother I would get my degree and stuff like that. Like people that go to the NBA. And when I got there, it was super unbearable because, like you said, I sold the records, but I was trying to be regular. It was like Rodney Dangerfield for a hood nigga, though.
Oh, yeah, like back to school.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, and RP Mama Love, that's like my mom too. I love her. But that helped get the honorary degree, Murder, the 5 million records.
cut the games, right? Education. That's how we hear when Stat is saying the education. Come on. All them people up there getting honoraries, it's not because of education.
I remember, and I know we got to get through what we got to do too, but I'll end my part of this about school anyway, is that I remember I was supposed to go to the University of Miami on a full scholarship. I didn't pass my SATs, so I went to junior college. Shout out to everybody at Navarro Junior College in Corsicana, Texas, the TEC. That's the toughest junior college basketball league in the country. And I was in my dorm, and they walked in and said, "Congratulations." I said, "What? You passed your GED?" I said, "Oh, word? I did? Thanks." I didn't even take the test. Sent it to my grandmother. She was happy as shit. She's like, "Yeah, you did it." I said, "Yeah, I did, right?" Killed it. You bought my shit to my dorm.
Well, the last thing I'll add to
if
that,
you're good enough, they'll find a way.
Yeah. Well,
They'll find a way.
the last thing I'll add, I mean, I did go to school on a scholarship, and truthfully, even the position that I'm in now, I would not have met either of y'all if I wasn't going to University of Miami at the time that I was. So I'm feeling all the blessings. For me, that was the route that worked for me.
Yes.
It doesn't work for everybody, but it worked for me. So for me, that's where my heart goes.
Let me tell you something. What I tell people all the time, right? And if you're in a room, you could be in a restaurant. You know, all three of us could be in a restaurant, but it's a waiter in there, it's a bartender in there, it's a busboy in there. We all got in that same room some type of way. We don't know if the waiter might be talented, the bartender might say something funny. You just end up in a room sometime, and it doesn't matter where you came from, all walks of life, end up in one room sometime. And not saying that you're going to leave that room successful or anything like that, but whatever road led you to be in that room, led you to be in that room.
Facts. For sure.
That's a great point.
Dropping gems, for sure. Okay, so let's get into this football game. The Dolphins' record is currently 3-6, but they beat the Rams 23-15. Mase, I'm going to let you go first. How do you feel about the way the Dolphins' season is going, even though they did win this game?
I think this is important and is good for one reason and one reason only. When it comes to the Dolphins, right? If they keep Tua on the field, I think this is the best scenario for the Dolphins, even if they don't win this game, because every game that they complete with him on the floor gives them hope to a better future. You know, I think Miami, regardless of their record, if you put them in the playoffs, given it being a one-game series like football is, they could beat anybody on any given Sunday. So to me, it doesn't really matter how they're playing at this point. I think even for Miami is one of those teams that look forward to performing in the postseason. Like we was talking about the great Kansas City team, and we was talking about the great comeback yesterday or the day prior from Detroit. Certain teams is only going to matter what they do in the postseason. But looking at this game, you know, other than the interception, I think he played fairly well. Killer?
Cam?
Yeah, as far as the game's concerned, look, LA Rams been banged up most of the season so far. You're only going to go so far if you're the Rams without Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp we don't talk about him a lot, and I think maybe because he might be white and being straight up honest, his top receivers. When he's in, he matters. He's that good, and the Rams' record is reflecting that. Why they're not as good as they were years prior. He's been hurt majority of the season. As far as the Dolphins are concerned, look, Mase said it best. When Tua's on the field, it gives them the best opportunity to win. Right now, is it too late? Did he miss too many games? It might be. It's still, we're winding down, but it's about 8 or 9 games left, depending on if you had your bye week already. And for them to even be a threat, Miami, I'm talking about, they would probably have to win the last 7 of their 8 games to even be a threat, because it looks like Buffalo is just running away with the division. As we know, it doesn't matter what your record is. If you win the division, you're in the playoffs. And Buffalo looks like a runaway winner right now. I think they're ahead 4 games. I don't have the stats in front of me. But looking at their schedule, like I was looking at earlier, they got a fairly decent schedule. I think they do have to play Miami again, but even if Miami was to win that game, are they going to make the playoffs? And when you get Tyreek Hill a couple years ago, when you're looking at Tua being a great quarterback he is when he's on the field, you're thinking that they're going to be good. Look, last year, I think they put up 70 points in one game, and we was like, oh, shit, it might be Miami's year. But they collapsed. Another thing about Miami, they can't play in the cold. So if they don't get home field advantage, and then they, let's just say, for instance, I'm just using examples. I know these teams may not be in the playoffs, but if you got to go to a Buffalo, another cold city. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the cold cities in the AFC right now, but it matters. It matters. Even if you go to Kansas City, it matters playing in the cold. And even Tua, Tyreek Hill, or anybody else you want to name on that team has not shown they could play in the cold. So to me, moving forward, not necessarily even this year, Miami has to win a lot of regular season games for me to have any faith in them to get to a Super Bowl, because if they end up having a road game in the cold, I wouldn't pick them to win.
Yeah, the only teams they will play in the cold is that wouldn't be cold is the Jaguars and the Chargers, and those are two teams that they don't have to worry about playing. I mean, they really only the Chargers. Other than that, they're gonna be playing in the cold, so there's no way to avoid that.
Yeah. Okay, so now we got to talk about the Cowboys. This is kind of a two-part question. So first, we're going to start with a quote by Stephen A. He said, "I believe that the Dallas Cowboys should tank the rest of the season, get the number 1 overall pick so you can draft Shedeur Sanders and hire primetime Deion Sanders as your head coach." This is something that I believe we actually discussed a little bit before, but now it's kind of coming more in motion.
That's exactly what Michael Irvin said.
Well, now that's the thing going on, and people are saying that this is a high possibility. So after hearing that, Mase, is this a move that you'd like to see for the Cowboys?
I think it's the only move to make. I think them tanking the rest of the season is the only move to make, especially to ensure that they get Deion and Shedeur. If they get Deion and Shedeur, now I'm ready to be a Cowboys fan. What? I wouldn't be a Cowboy fan no other way. You know, just Shedeur without Deion, I don't think they'll do right by Shedeur. I think you have to have at least Deion there for the beginning of his career, and then let Deion do something else. But I think you have to start him out with Deion. Not that he won't do well. I think he does better when they're taking that step towards the NFL together as a family unit. And I mean, there's no reason to keep the coach they have. So if you're trying to move, this would be the move to make. But then what do you do with Dak Prescott? We're going to talk about that later too. What do you do with Dak? All right, it's on you, Killer.
I seen that actually live when Stephen A was talking about it. Outstanding move, outstanding prosperity for that family. This would not be and no disrespect, we're about to say, this wouldn't be a LeBron James, Bronny James situation, because I think we all think that Shedeur is better than Bronny in his field of play at a quarterback. Just my personal opinion. I'm not throwing shots at Bron or Bronny. Those are my people. I love them both, but this looks like something that could possibly work. Only thing I would say about this, me personally, is that when you're dealing with Cowboys fans, they're very impatient, even though they've been waiting for 30-something years to win another championship. 29 years, this is going to be 30 years in 2025 since the last time they won a championship. And when you get somebody like Deion Sanders, not even necessarily Shedeur, when you get Deion Sanders, you want results quick, because the last few years, that's what he's been doing. Not only as a player, been outstanding, but I'm talking about as a coach. When he goes down to Mississippi and he coaches, and he gets to a championship 2 years in a row. Last year, the team won 1 game before he got there. Then I believe they won 3 games or 4 games, which was not a great season. But right now, they're 7-2. And not only 7-2, they really should be 8-1. That one game against drawing a blank, they threw a touchdown last minute when Travis wasn't playing. They was picking on the safety and the cornerback that game, and they ended up losing the game with like less than a minute left. I just think that it's great, but I'm not sure Cowboy fans will be patient because it's Deion Sanders. Yo, you've been doing it, nigga. Come on, nigga, get us to the championship. You've been doing it everywhere else you went. Them niggas is very impatient. I would say, me personally, just Cam personally, I would definitely be a Cowboys fan, 100%. But I'm scared of them not achieving what Cowboys fans want as soon as they want it. I think, me personally, a better move with the same scenario would be Vegas. I think the Raiders are not the Cowboys, but the Raiders also have nostalgia with them. Don't get it fucked up. The Raiders got great nostalgia. The West Coast would come in support. They'd be driving from San Francisco, Oakland, LA, and anybody else who follows Deion around the country. But it wouldn't be as much expected as with the Cowboys. Now, Deion is primetime, the Cowboys are primetime. It was one time the Raiders was primetime. They just been so bad for so long that you're not expecting much out of them. I think that Deion and Shador go to the Raiders, it wouldn't be as much expected as the Cowboys. And that way, if they creep into the playoffs, get a wild card spot, even make it to a conference championship, it'll be like Deion did some crazy shit. Now with the Cowboys, it's crazier. It's way crazier because it's the Cowboys. But I don't think as much pressure would be on them as much as it would be if they made that same move with the Raiders.
Yeah, and you talk about pressure. I believe Deion and Shador was living in Texas before going out to Colorado. So to Mississippi, so that makes it even more pressure, more people there. But I don't think Deion would have it any other way. If we're talking about Deion like we know, Deion wouldn't have it no other way but to do it on the biggest scale, on the biggest city, biggest town, with the biggest brand.
And then to extend the conversation on the Cowboys. So basically, Micah Parsons made a lot of comments about head coach Mike McCarthy. A reporter asked him, what's the sentiment inside the locker room and what do you tell people who are wondering about whether McCarthy will be your coach next year? He said, all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. Guys I kind of feel bad for are guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with these types of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. He later explained his intent wasn't to throw McCarthy under the bus. Mase, after hearing that, hearing him say that about his head coach, how do you interpret the comments that he made?
Let's zoom in on me for a second, because this is something that men around the world got to pay attention to. Listen, you're grown now. So intent doesn't matter. If you do something crazy, but you intended to do right, you're grown now. Intent does not hold any weight to grown, mature men. So I hate when people do this. They just throw your name totally under the bus and be like, but that's not really what I meant by it. Who cares what you meant by it? If you hit a kid with a car, the kid still got hit by the car, even though that's not what you meant to do. You got to be more responsible for your life, your words, and what you're doing. And I think, when you say as much as he said, I think he was going in the right direction, but there was partially what it comes across as, no point at him, but what it comes across as is that it was loaded with probably some hidden feelings because you threw his name out there when you didn't have to. This is why you got to get media training for athletes and for entertainers, because just because somebody asks you about something doesn't mean you got to answer it. I just saw an interview with Quando Rondo and DJ Academics. Quando did not allow him to take him on a journey. He stayed consistent with what he wanted to say and what he wanted to convey. And I think people need to do more of that.
And then Cam.
He said what he said. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he felt the way he felt the way. But
the backtracking is what I'm talking about.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just getting my thoughts together because what happens is, and it's not in the same direction you went. I'm just going in a little bit of different direction. Is that players and younger people, and I was one of them younger people too. I know we tend to just forget or not forget. You don't know. And when you sit there and be like Mike McCarthy, if I'm not mistaken, what you were saying is that he was saying people put more work in than Mike McCarthy has ever put in. And Mike McCarthy actually been coaching in the NFL as an assistant, defensive coach, quarterback coach, whatever, since 1993. Micah Parsons was born in 1999. So when you say somebody doesn't put the work in, or he doesn't, or somebody at the end of their career, or he could go somewhere else, trust me, he's on the biggest stage in the world, coaching the Cowboys as far as football is concerned. You think he wants to stink it up? He can't go out there and tackle them niggas. He can't complete passes. He's not the one dropping passes. Now, does he have to put a good scheme together as a head coach? Absolutely. But when you're young and you just don't know, and you sit there and make statements like that, like, yo, niggas put in more work than Mike McCarthy ever had. The nigga been coaching in the NFL longer than you was born. He been coaching 6 years before you was born. So maybe he's not put the work in as a player, but to keep your job is being around the right players, making sure that the players, if you're a defensive coach, making sure the defensive team is doing good. If you're a quarterback coach, making sure the quarterback coach is doing good. If you're a head coach, you're responsible for all three phases of the game as well as your coaching staff. I just don't like that when people try to discredit people's resume because they're feeling away and then don't actually do the homework to know how long somebody's actually been doing it. As far as what he said, yeah, if you said it, you said it. It's like we was talking about boxing. You can't unhear it. If you've seen it, you can't unsee it. We heard it. You said what you said. If you feel like that, you feel like that. You know, I can't tell him how to feel. I'm not in the locker room with the Cowboys, but only thing I would say to that is what I started off this segment with, my segment with exactly, is that, yo, bro, he doesn't want to stink it up. It's embarrassing to him. It's embarrassing if he's going to get fired. It's embarrassing to not make it to the conference NFC conference finals if you're the Cowboys head coach. And I get it as a player because Michael Parsons is a stud. Pause. Like he's a super good player. He might be the best player on the Cowboys team, so I know it gets frustrating. But don't discredit what somebody's been doing longer than you were born.
Yeah, and I think another thing to highlight with people in general is that is nothing wrong with not knowing. It's just a problem when you don't know and you don't know you don't know. That's really the problem of what we're talking about here. He doesn't know, but he doesn't know he doesn't know. He think what he's saying is actually the truth.
Right. You're right.
Fair point and well said.
Correct.
Okay, we're going to go to break. When we return, we got to talk about all these NBA injuries. Don't go anywhere.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free. Why am I here? This woman wanna be free. Hell, I don't wanna see her walk away. I wish somebody told me the rules. Disagreements let her win, and it's cool. Even when I'm right, this ain't about.
Welcome back. Now let's get into our underdog picks of the day. Today, the Warriors will play the Mavs. Underdog has Steph Curry at 25.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Higher.
Hey, Cam.
It's a goodie, man. Kyrie and Steph, man. I love them matchups. I'm going to go higher, though.
Okay, Draymond is at 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Do you have him higher or lower, Cam?
I'm going to go higher. He passing to Steph.
Yeah, higher.
Okay.
Definitely.
Luka is at...
Do y'all know that? Do you know that Draymond Green, and this is a crazy stat, that he's the all-time leader in triple-doubles in Golden State history?
I think I did see that.
Out of all the players that ever played for Golden State, like,
Yeah,
just had Chris Mullin.
That makes sense because everybody else on Golden State were all scorers. They were people that was trying to get baskets, from Sprewell to Tim Hardaway to. They always had like scoring guards. What was the young boy name that came from high school? Number 11. Oh man, Monte Ellis. Yeah, they always had scorers at on the wings.
Yeah, interesting side. Just when you see it, you don't think about it. But what were you saying, Cam?
No, I'm saying, and when you're going to get assists when you pass it like Steph and Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Luka's at 8.5 rebounds. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
8.5 rebounds?
Yeah.
I'm going higher.
Okay, Cam?
I'm going to go lower.
Okay, if you guys like these picks, remember you always get a free pick if you're not already on Underdog, so make sure to support the show, sign up now, and you can make your picks too. So throughout the season, we've seen a lot of injuries on different teams. So we're kind of going to go through a couple teams, star players. We're going to start with the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey is expected to miss a couple of weeks with a strained right hamstring. Mase, how do you think this affects the Sixers offense?
For some strange reason, I think the injury of Tyrese Maxey will actually benefit them in a way, because you'll get to see Paul George play, and Paul George would get in a rhythm that he would not get into pause with Tyrese Maxey there. He become the instant third option with Tyrese Maxey not there, because first is Joel Embiid, then Tyrese would get his own basket. But now with him out, you'll see Paul George bringing the ball up, point forward sometime. You'll see him also getting more baskets. So by the time they bring Tyrese Maxey back, which won't be a long wait, but he'll be, in there scoring with the Sixers, and then he'll know how to play with Joel Embiid a little bit better. Then if he had to play at the third option, it puts a lot of pressure on him because he's not getting the numbers he's used to getting, but he's also, playing at a new position, which is the third option.
Okay, and Cam?
This is what Mase said is true, but will it benefit the Sixers? I'm not sure, because we see him as a number one option in Indiana and didn't get done. We see him as a number two option in Oklahoma City, it didn't get done. We see him as a number two option or a number one option in LA, it didn't get done. Maybe the GOAT is better as a third option, because now we're running out of options. We had you as
Maybe
first,
the
second
GOAT
option
is better as a third option is crazy.
Because we running out of options. You've been the number one option, you've been the number two option, you've been the number one and two option depending on what night it is in LA, and none of it's panned out to Paul George ever even being in the championship. He's never even been in the championship. So I thought this was great as him as a third option. Now, what Mason saying, maybe he's right. He'll get into the Paul George bag that we used to see you start seeing. But has that worked?
Yeah.
No, it hasn't worked. So I think that this is not going to be well for chemistry as far as Tyrese Maxey missing games, because I think the more games they get with Tyrese, Joel, and Paul George on the floor, the better they'll be able to contend against Boston or New York, or let's not even act like Cleveland ain't at the top of the food chain right now. This dude Mobley or Cleveland athleticism is just ridiculous, and Garland. And I watched the full game of them finally this season. Them niggas is a problem. They're a real problem, and people need to pay attention to that. But I think this time with Tyrese Maxey off actually hurts them as a team. Will they get Paul George more shots and him to get into a rhythm, possibly with Joel Embiid? Yeah, but we've seen this movie already.
Facts. Yeah, I think the Sixers season has been pretty disappointing just given all their injuries. But on the upside, y'all know I'm always looking at rookies, younger players. Their 16th overall pick, Jared McCain, has been balling. I think he stepped up in a way that people didn't expect him to. In their overtime win versus the Hornets, he did score 27 points. So it's good that he's been able to kind of step up and take over that position, given that they've had a lot of injuries and put up some points. So on the bright side, you guys definitely got a good pick if you guys are a Sixers.
Wait a minute. What position, Paul, does McCain play?
Yeah, shooting guard.
All right.
Yeah, that's the Nails one. I don't mean to bring it up every time. I just know that that's the way
Nails.
that y'all will remember him.
He was actually balling, though.
The TikToker. So, yeah, he's good. But there you guys have it. Okay, another player out, Zion. He is out indefinitely with a hamstring injury. This is actually another hamstring injury. Just in general, from what we've seen from Zion, Mase, how do you feel about the way that his career has kind of been panning out?
Oh man, this is a touchy situation because I was expecting Zion to be like one of those players. Like if I was to give my expert opinion, I truly believe that he was supposed to have like not above Barkley type of career, and I think that the injuries are gonna take a toll if he doesn't like become super strict with his body and pause and take his body serious. And if he is taking it serious, take it even more serious, because I'm not here to say what he doesn't do with his body. But it's almost like one of those things when people are working out or when they're eating well. You don't have to tell people you're eating well, and you don't have to tell people you're working out. When you are, they could see it, and a lot of these injuries are coming from the players not being really ready for NBA season, like the rigorousness of it. They're training almost like they're gonna play 60 games. They need to be training like they're gonna play 100 games. So that means up the reps or lower the reps and then higher the intensity. So then when you get in these intense situations, you won't be getting hurt as much. I'm not in the NBA, but I know that to be true.
Sorry about that.
All good.
I said I'm not going to keep worrying about Zion's available every year. I can't do it. I'm not going to be emotionally invested in it because every year you're like, nah, next year Zion look crazy, because when he plays, he looks really good. He looks strong. It looks like even if people are taller than him, he can still get a basket. And then you get excited, and then this shit happens. Indefinitely is diabolical. Nigga ain't say 2 to 3 weeks. Nigga ain't say 1 to 2 months. Indefinitely. That means we can't give you an answer on when he's coming back. What Zion needs to do if he wants people to take him more seriously, and I'm not saying he's not injured or whatever, but you need to look at a lot of people who got injured in the beginning of their career and what they did and what changes they made to not get injured throughout their career. Now, you got people who got injured throughout their whole career and just couldn't get over it. It's players such as my homeboy, shout out to my man Grant Hill too. He could have been spectacular if he didn't get hurt a lot in the beginning of his career, but he still ended up having a decent career. Not comparing Zion to Grant Hill. By the way, speaking of Grant Hill, he's actually mailing us some stuff that only the Olympics player had, the sneakers, the jerseys, everything. Mason Stat, he wanted me to tell y'all he loves y'all, loves the show, and we about to get the shit only the players had in the Olympics. Is that leftovers? I don't know. But he just still going to mail it. I shout out to Grant. I spoke to Grant. He sent me some beats. Murder them shits was I said, your beats. He said, Grant said, I'm going to get back in the lab. Tamia keep dissing my shits, talking about I ain't got no melody. People forget he's married though. I say, yeah, you ain't the biggest star in the house, bro. But back to Zion real quick. Yeah, if you have people like, let's say, for instance, Steph Curry. Steph Curry had a lot of ankle problems his first few years in the league. Maybe 2-3 years, he was having a lot of ankle problems. And he may have been hurt maybe 3 times in the last 10, 11 years. You have Floyd Mayweather, who used to break his hands in his earlier years, every other fight, his hands would get sore. He'd break his hand in the middle of the fight. He started going to chronological therapy, and I don't know what else he done. I'm just talking about the stuff that he shared with everybody. And his hands was good for another 20-something years. You have to look into what people have done and what they did that make to sustain a long career and do the due diligence and study, because it don't seem like you're not caring. That you're caring that much, because year after year, you come in and you get hurt. And we didn't see this throughout your college career. We didn't see this throughout your high school career. Are you playing against little boys? No, but you're still making the same moves. The shit you was doing at Duke was just the same, as amazing as what you're doing in the NBA. What happened? We seen your shoe bust out at Duke. Cool. You still played after that. What actually happened in between the transition from college, that 1 year you went to the NBA, to where you're constantly getting hurt?
Yeah. And then speaking of getting hurt, there's another player. So OKC's Chet Holmgren suffered a pelvic fracture on a hard fall during OKC's 127-116 loss to the Warriors. He will be out for at least 8 to 10 weeks. So right now, OKC is currently first in the West. Mase, do you think his absence will make OKC lose the number one spot?
Me and White was just talking about this earlier. And I made reference to the fact that this is why I didn't have OKC at the top of the division or the top of the West when we first was talking about teams, because it's just something that happens with those taller players. Very seldom do they last a long time. Now, Chet is phenomenal as a player. You expect him to play great. I was really expecting him to have a Porzingis year. But I knew that it was a looming factor that was on the table, and that's this injury. Like, when you're dealing with taller players like that, right in that 7 feet, 7'1", all the way up to like 7'9" now, we got to think about those freak injuries that only happen to them. They don't happen to short guys. They don't happen to 6'6" wingmen. It happens only at that height. And this is going to be a major blow to them, because when you take him out of that lineup, they're not the same team. They're not even remotely close to the same team. Like we was talking about Tyrese Maxey and Paul George. Some players are interchangeable and you can get those same numbers. There's nobody on OKC that can do what Chet does. Nobody. And I think this is going to set them back, whereas they would be probably like a third place or second place. They could be anywhere from 2 to 4. Now this puts them at 9 to 10 or 8 to 10.
Okay, and then Cam, how you feeling?
Well, let's say 7 to 10. Anywhere 7 to 10. Okay. I see him shaking his head, but without Chet,
White shaking his head.
How long is Chet out for?
Yeah, he's out for 8 to 10 weeks. That's a long
8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah.
That's 2.5 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
7 place.
I think
Nick,
it's definitely
bookmark this.
Need that. Watch the record. Watch the record in 2 months. That's what he's saying. Cam, what were you saying?
I apologize, Killer. I was just bookmarking.
No,
White.
you good. No, you good. Harstein is still out as well, so they're gonna be slacking pause at center positions, power forward position.
Yes.
We'll see who they got to put in that position.
They have Kenrich Williams. He's 6'6".
Yeah, 6'6" against 7 feet. That's a difference. A 4-inch difference. That's a problem. What I will say is this: I'm not sure where their record is for this next 8 to 10 weeks, like White and Murder was just talking about. But I do think that that's enough time for whatever their record is to get it back if he comes back fully healthy in 8 to 10 weeks. I think they're that good. If you're thinking about let's just say 2 months from today, you're coming back right around the All-Star break. So if you could get a healthy Chet and get that extra week with the All-Star break, and then you still have 2.5 months of basketball left before the playoffs. I think that OKC will be all right. They're that good. But as far as their record, when Chet's not there, I'm not sure. We have to see what happens. The year before, when Chet was supposed to play and he couldn't play because he got hurt for his whole rookie season, he ended up being a rookie last year. They were 40-42 without Chet. Now, has everybody grown as far as definitely, Shea grew. We know he's a 2-time first team All-NBA, but the pieces around them are really good as well. And I've seen a couple games this season from OKC. I'm really excited that this week is kind of a mellow week and I get to catch up on all the games and all the teams I haven't seen play a full 48 minutes. I'm really excited about that. But from the games that I did see, they got some dogs, and I think it'll be more than enough time for them to be okay. But time after All-Star break, even if they don't do that good with Chet not being there, and Chet has to come back healthy for that to even be a factor, not halfway healthy, fully healthy.
Yeah. Okay, and then the injuries don't even stop there. So the Suns are currently 8-2. They're tied with the Warriors for second in the West. KD will be out for at least 2 weeks with a calf strain. So, Mase, how do you think that the Suns can perform without KD? Because this is another injury.
Again, this is another one of those situations, but I think it's more favorable even for Phoenix because when you think of KD, he's on a wing, and he does a lot of play that's at the 4, but they have positions that they can kind of get those same comparable numbers. That's what I was speaking from earlier. Not that they can't win without Chet, is that where you're gonna find those numbers from. Like if I wanted to get 30 points from the wing, can I get 30 points from the wing without KD there? Yes. Through Booker, through Bill. You can add 10 more points to Booker, 10 more points to Bill. And that's more logical that in a basketball sense. So when I think of KD, will it hurt the Suns? Is more than it will hurt OKC because OKC have people that are trying to win. They're not just trying to get stats. So I would think that is the case when it comes to Phoenix. Phoenix is gonna take a hit.
Hey, and Cam?
I think me personally, well, first of all, I hope KD gets well soon. When it comes to KD, anything close to his Achilles, you have to take off because they said it was a calf injury before and it ended up tearing his Achilles. And one thing about Achilles, I've learned over the years, even when, and it isn't related, like when I got shot, I still have nerve damage in one of my hands, and the doctor will tell you that you was better off breaking a bone than getting shot in your nerve because bones are going to heal. Nerve damage may never heal. And the same thing with an Achilles. That's the reason I brought that up because Achilles, when you break a bone playing basketball, and I got this from NBA trainers and so on and so forth, because Sin was arguing with me about it. Again, this is why I had to call the professionals and fucking with that nigga. But you break a bone, you know it's going to heal in X amount of time. And you can stop doing physical therapy on it. When you tear an Achilles, it is constant physical therapy for the rest of your career, if not your life, depending on what you want to do after your career is over. But it's no nonstop. It's no due date on when this problem could reoccur. This is constant therapy for the rest of your basketball career, football career, whatever career you're in as far as being a professional athlete. And anytime it's calf injury, that scares me for KD. That really scares me. So I hope he gets well quicker. Me personally, quick, that is, and prayers up. With me personally, when it comes to the Suns without KD, I think this is kind of needed. Will they take a hit? Maybe, maybe not. But I haven't seen the Devin Booker that I'm accustomed to seeing when KD wasn't with the Suns.
Yeah.
I don't think that they figured out, even though we know that KD is, if this was the Heat, KD's LeBron and Booker should be D-Wade, but I don't think they had that conversation like D-Wade and LeBron had. When that first year after that, they had to figure out, yo, you the one option, I'm the two option, etc. I don't think KD and Booker ever had that. Do I know that for a fact? I don't know that for a fact. But it just haven't been the same Booker prior to KD getting there, because us as analysts were saying, oh shit, we picked last year for Phoenix to come in number one in the West over Denver, who was the champions, and they ended up getting eliminated in the first round. So it doesn't look like this is working. I think this will give Devin Booker and Bradley Beal some more time to say, okay, let me do what I do. Because neither one of them got the contracts that they got being subpar. Do you have to dumb your game down a little bit when you're playing with two other superstars or all-stars at least? Absolutely. But it's been, we tend to forget yesterday as people, just because of so much content and social media, etc. But Bradley Beal signed a deal for $180 million or something close to that with the Wizards, because when John Wall went out, he was acting crazy. Bradley Beal was some other type of scorer. He was one of them niggas. And that's why when he got to Phoenix, we was like, oh shit, nah, this is going to be it. But sometimes their game isn't translating in other places. And I think Booker and Beal will have some fun being the old players that they were, going to get a basket without necessarily catering to the biggest superstar in their team. So to me, I'm not saying their record will be better, but I think they'll get a little bit rhythm back, because I just haven't seen the Devin Booker or Bradley Beal that I'm accustomed to seeing before they played with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I think honestly, looking at this Phoenix team, one thing that'll help this team, I think, is a hidden trade that even the NBA has overlooked, and that's Booker for Damian Lillard. I think Damian Lillard need to go out west to Phoenix, and they need to bring Booker to Milwaukee, and both teams will benefit from that.
Interesting take.
I ain't trading Booker for Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard, 35, man. Booker, what, 27, 28?
Yeah, late
Give more
20s.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let us know what you guys think in the comments if that's a trade that you would like to see. But overall, I'm hoping that all these players feel better. It's not the same when we're having all these injured players. When we want to see them play basketball, especially starting out like this, it's just not the best thing to see. So we're hoping they all have a speedy recovery. But with that being said, that is all the time that we have for today. Thanks for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two big necks, like when they doing them 2 for $5.